4. The origins of mass hysteria. How expectations spread within groups. In May 2006, Portugal was beset by mysterious outbreaks of illness. The disease only appeared to afflict teenagers, who experienced dizziness, breathing difficulties, and skin rashes. Within a few days, around 300 students across the country had been affected. A virus or some kind of poisoning seemed the most likely pathogens, according to some experts. Others believed it might be an allergic reaction to a certain kind of caterpillar or to dust in classrooms. None of the explanations seemed truly convincing, however. As one health expert remarked, "I don't know any agent that is so selective it only attacks children." Enquiries eventually revealed that the popular teen soap Morangos com Açúcar, Strawberries with Sugar, was to blame. In the days before the first reported cases, the main characters on the show had been infected by a life-threatening virus that had led to very similar symptoms. Somehow, the virus had jumped from the small screen to a handful of viewers, creating real physical symptoms, despite the fact that the illness in the program was totally fictional. Those children had then passed it on to their classmates, leading the cases to multiply. Portuguese adults were unlikely to have been dedicated viewers of the melodrama, and were less embedded in the teens' social networks, so they were less likely to develop the disease. Scientists call this kind of outbreak, with no physical vector, a mass psychogenic illness. Whereas psychosomatic can refer to our mental state exacerbating existing symptoms, psychogenic means that the origin itself is purely psychological for use, in the knowledge that more supplies are on the way, and we will become more physically active. In this way, ghrelin helps to balance our energy input and output to ensure that we will never run out of fuel. In the early 2010s, Alia Crum and colleagues at Yale and Arizona State University invited participants into the lab on 2 separate occasions to try out different recipes for a shake. One was labelled in big letters as "Indulgence, Decadence You Deserve." Its label encouraged the eater to indulge yourself with this rich and creamy blend of all our premium ingredients, sumptuously smooth ice cream, satin whole milk, and sweet vanilla. It is heaven in a bottle, and irresistibly gratifying, smooth, rich, and delicious. On the nutritional information, it claimed 620 calories in total, 270 of which came from fat, and it was accompanied by a picture of a glass cup loaded with ice cream, chocolate sauce, and sprinkles. The other was called a Sensi Shake, for guilt-free satisfaction. Get sensible with the new light, healthy Sensi Shake. It has all the taste without the guilt, no fat, no added sugar, and only 140 calories. Sensi Shake is light and tasty enough to enjoy every day. The illustration for this one was an insipid-looking vanilla flower, the flavour of the drink. In reality, the shakes on both days were exactly the same, containing 380 calories each. To measure participants' ghrelin responses to these manufactured expectations, Crum's team took blood samples at regular intervals before and after they read the marketing material, and after they had actually drunk the shakes. For the indulgent shake, smooth, rich, and delicious, the ghrelin levels changed exactly as you would hope after a hearty meal, dropping in line with the expected effects on their hunger. For the sensible, guilt-free shake, however, the ghrelin levels barely changed at all. With a simple change of mindset and no actual alteration of the shake's nutritional content, Crum's team appeared to have shifted the hormonal profiles of the participants. In one instance, it set them up for greater satiation and an increased metabolism. On the other, it primed them for greater hunger and reduced metabolism. When people think they are eating healthily, that's associated with a sense of deprivation, Crum concludes, and that mindset matters in shaping our physiological response. The immediate effects of these mindsets can also be seen in the brain regions associated with energy regulation. People taking a low-calorie drink labelled as a treat show a more pronounced response in the hypothalamus, for instance, compared with those who had been given a healthy drink. Indeed, the response to the treat label looked very similar to the activity observed when participants actually drank a high-calorie Ben & Jerry's shake. Based solely on verbal information, the brain was apparently adjusting its predicted energy intake and expenditure, irrespective of the actual content of the glass. Further research has revealed that our expectations of food can shape everything from the movement of food in the gut to our insulin response. Consider an ingenious study by researchers at Purdue University in West Lafayette, Indiana, who wanted to understand why sugary drinks fail to sate our appetites. A bottle of Coca-Cola, after all, has as many calories as a donut. But because of our low expectations, we still feel just as hungry after the drink, and fail to compensate for the energy intake by reducing our consumption later in the day. Like Henry Mollison's ability to eat meal after meal without satisfaction, this was hard to explain if you believed that our hunger arises solely from the chemical sensing of nutrients in the gut. But the Purdue researchers suspected that this was due to a widespread assumption that liquids contain fewer calories than foods and are less satisfying, an expectation that directly influences the way they are digested, including the amount of time they are held in the